She never saw it coming. Forced to marry a disabled man, until a shocking secret emerged. The air felt static, charged with suspense, as Ashley stood at the altar, her heart pounding like a drum in her chest. She glanced nervously at Evan, the man she barely knew but was about to marry. His wheelchair was tucked expertly beside the plush silk of the ceremonial carpet, but it wasn't his disability that sent chills racing down her spine. No, it was the sinister backstory that surrounded him, an ominous tale that whispered of dark family secrets and a fortune hidden in shadows. She could practically hear the gasps of the guests, their eyes darting between Ashley and Evan as if they were watching a train wreck unfold. The wedding was a spectacle, lavish decorations draped everywhere, flickering candles casting eerie shapes on the faces of friends and family. Everybody was excited, but Ashley couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The way Evan's family watched him, not with love, but with a yearning that felt more like dread, made her stomach churn. Yes, those wide eyes whispered of untold stories, of a secret so powerful that its very existence hung like a sword over the ceremony. The tension was electric. The officiant spoke, words blurring together, but Ashley couldn't focus. The eerie sensation that someone was watching her closely clawed at her mind. She had never met Evan's parents, and now they stood in the distance, silently observing, their expressions unreadable. And then, as if the universe conspired to heighten her anxiety, she caught a glimpse of an old photograph peeking out from Evan's jacket pocket. A black and white image of him as a boy, standing beside a woman, laughing. But it was the other figure beside them, a shadowy man with piercing eyes and a dark smile that sent her heart racing. Who was he? And why did he loom so large in the back of her mind? Before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button. It really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Just as Ashley was about to say I do, a haunting laugh sliced through the air, freezing everyone in place. It was deep and rhythmic, a sound that felt like an echo of a memory too close for comfort. Evan's eyes went wide, the color draining from his face. What secret was he holding that went beyond the physical boundaries of his condition? The room thickened with a silence so profound it drowned out her thoughts, leaving only that laugh echoing in her ears. Was there something unknown lurking behind the flickering candlelights of this fairy tale wedding? As she struggled to make sense of it all, her heart thumped against her ribcage as the shadow of uncertainty loomed ever larger. What was it about Evan that kept hidden the kind of secrets that could shatter lives? The threads of fate were weaving tighter around them, pulling Ashley further into a world she wasn't prepared to face. The laughter echoed again, rattling the very foundation of the ceremony. Ashley's heart raced, her thoughts swirling into chaos as all eyes turned toward the source. It came from the back of the chapel, a dark figure cloaked in shadow. An uneasy murmur spread among the guests as whispers turned into gasps. Who was he? And why did his laughter sound so chilling? Evan's reaction was instinctive. His hand shot toward the old photograph, as if subconsciously trying to shield his past from the torrent about to unleash. Every fiber of Ashley's being shouted for her to run, but her feet felt glued to the floor. The officiant, visibly unnerved, stammered through the next few lines, desperately trying to maintain the facade of normalcy. But it was clear that the atmosphere had shifted. What had once been a wedding filled with joy and hope now felt eerily close to a deranged horror show. Then the figure stepped forward, partially illuminated by the candlelight. Ashley squinted, her breath catching in her throat. It was an older man, with sharp features and a grin that twisted into something unsettling. He locked eyes with Evan, and a dark familiarity flickered between them, like a flame igniting kindling. Evan's blue eyes widened, his face draining of color as recognition hit him hard. "Dad?" he muttered, disbelief and fear colliding within his voice. The congregation collectively gasped, the shock reverberating through the air. This wasn't just a ceremony gone awry. It was stepping into the very heart of a family drama too tangled to comprehend. "I thought I told you to keep away," the man shouted, his voice booming and brittle as it filled the chapel, drowning out every other sound. Ashley's mind raced. This was not the father she would have imagined for Evan. The man seemed weathered and dangerous, the kind that reeked of long-held grudges and unresolved vengeance. Rumors floated through her mind, dark whispers of a family feud that stretched back decades. Why was he here? What was the secret that bound them? The tension snapped as Evan's mother took a step forward, her voice trembling. "You shouldn't have come. You were told. You're ruining everything." This was a battle of wills playing out in front of Ashley and a crowd of witnesses, with the stakes higher than she ever anticipated. The fragile air of the wedding had transformed into an arena, and she was caught in the crossfire. Evan looked stricken, his eyes darting from his mother to the man, his picking an invisible wound nearly palpable. "After everything, why now?" he asked, his voice cracking. Then came the reply that changed everything. The older man's smile widened in a sickening way. "Because, my dear son, you're about to find out what you truly have and what it costs." Those words hung in the air, reverberating like an eerie melody. Ashley stood frozen, the weight of the moment pressing down on her chest. The fear of what would happen next flooded her veins. With the weight of a secret hanging over them, Ashley felt the walls of her perfect world crumbling. Just then, a cell phone buzzed against the silence, pulling her attention momentarily, but what could be any ordinary notification suddenly felt ominous. What could it be now? She thought heavily, her heart pounding like a drum. As she reached for it, another laugh echoed, not from the man, but from within her, a shuddering cackle of realizing she was spiraling into a mystery far darker than she ever imagined. Would the truth about Evan unveil itself, or would the shadows of their past consume them all? Panic washed over Ashley like a cold wave, each gasp of breath sharp and shallow. The ruckus in the chapel felt suffocating, the laughter twisting itself around her mind like a dark vine, threatening to choke her thoughts. She clutched the cell phone tightly, the screen glaring like a beacon. Messages flooded in, but none of them mattered. What was happening here was a storm far worse than any text could convey. Evan stood paralyzed in front of his father, oblivious to the gasps and whispers that ricocheted around them. Ashley tried to catch his eye, hoping to convey a signal, a plea for him to escape, to run with her from the chaos. But Evan was lost in a maze of betrayal and shock, staring at the man who had been nothing but a ghost in his past. "Do you even know what you're doing?" His father spat, the venom lacing his words as he took a massive step forward. "You're about to bury yourself, just like I did. Don't you see the trap that has been laid for you?" Ashley's heart pounded harder. It was visceral, a tug of war between wanting to protect Evan and the gnawing dread of the spiraling drama. Shadows danced in Evan's eyes as anger began to boil beneath the surface. "You think you can waltz in here after all these years and dictate my life?" he shouted back, his voice gaining strength with each syllable. The older man's smile faltered for a beat, a crack in his facade. "Your mother and I, we had agreements. Much more than you can imagine." An unsettling wave rippled through the guests, audible gasps punctuating the thick air. Ashley felt that wave, a tremor traveling through her core. What unnerved her was not just the dysfunction laid bare, but the sharp realization that everything she believed about Evan's past was built on cracks. "Stop!" Evan's mother cried, desperation painting her face white. "This isn't the time. Not here." But the shadows looming over them seemed to grow denser, feeding off their turmoil. The older man turned slowly, scanning the faces of the guests, and Ashley felt a shiver crawl down her spine. What dark secrets did he carry? What destruction had he left in his wake? Evan's voice, now showing a touch of defiance, cut through the charged atmosphere. You Haven T told me everything. What are you hiding? His voice trembled but held an underlying strength, a fight awakened from years of silence. Both parents exchanged a glance filled with unbearable tension, a shared history steeped in bitterness, and Ashley couldn't shake the sense they were both about to reveal something that could shatter Evan's world completely. Just then, she received the notification again, a buzzing urgency, pulling her back into the present. She glanced at the phone screen, hoping it would be something mundane, a distraction to anchor her. But the sight of the sender sent a jolt of ice through her. The message read, "You need to leave the chapel now." Ashley looked back up, eyes wide. This was not meant for her. Shock settled deep within her as she stole a glance at Evan, locked in confrontation with the man who claimed to be his father. There was this looming decision now, a moment of reckoning. Should she intervene, drag him away before all hell broke loose? In that split second, the laughter rang out again, right beside her, a ghostly echo rising through the tension. The kind of laughter that sent a bolt of panic spiraling into her heart. A hint of something sinister clawed up from the depths, rattling her nerves. Come with me, or stay and face the truth, Ashley thought, wrestling with the choice before her. Before she could think further, the older man's voice rose, laden with bitter truth. You were never meant to be part of this life, Evan. But now that you are, it's time you understand exactly what that means. The words crashed over her like a wave, and just as realization dawned, the chapel doors slammed shut, echoing like a thunderclap. With dread pooling in her stomach, she braced herself for the eruption that was about to unfold. What truth would unfold in the next moment? And what secrets had they locked away, frightened to share? Evan would have to confront not only his father, but the shadows of a legacy he never asked for, or lose everything in the process. Would it tear him apart, or bring him together with Ashley, unearthing bonds neither of them anticipated? Ashley's heart raced as the weight of the moment hung thick in the air. Every face in the chapel turned toward Evan and his father, tension pulsing like a living, breathing thing. The laughter faded, replaced by a suffocating silence that stretched out, pregnant with unspoken truths. Evan's father stepped closer, eyes gleaming with a fierce mix of desperation and anger. You have no idea what you're tangled up in, do you? This isn't just family drama. It's treachery wrapped in blood. He sneered, the words slithering through the silent room, igniting whispers of disbelief. Ashley felt a jolt when she heard the gasps around her, felt the shift in the air. Evan's friends exchanged shocked looks, unsure of whether to step forward or back away from the brewing storm. She could sense that something monumental was about to break, the kind of moment that shatters lives into pieces. Stop, both of you. Evan's mother exploded, her voice cracking under the pressure. You're dragging this out into the open when it should stay buried. Ashley's fingers quivered around her phone, the glowing screen still buzzing with that unsettling warning. Was it intended for her, or was it a cry for help embedded within the chaos that consumed Evan and his family? She scanned the faces of the guests, searching for an ally, someone who might be able to help steer Evan from this impending disaster. Buried? Evan repeated, taking a step back, as if she had struck him. How deep exactly? The defiance in his voice crashed against the tension like waves against a cliff. What's buried is my past, my identity. You all have shielded me from the truth, kept me in the dark, but no more. He turned to his father, voice unyielding. What truth are you guarding, old man? Tell me. The older man's face paled, a storm of emotions swirling behind his eyes. Ashley could see the slight tremor in his hands, the way he fought to maintain control. He opened his mouth, but for a moment, no sound emerged. Then a long, anguished groan escaped him. You don't understand what you're asking. Some truths should never see the light. They'll only bring pain. Ashley's breath caught in her throat. What could be so terrifying? A secret that would cut deep enough to unravel the very essence of who they were, threatening the fragile lives they built. Just then, the flickering lights overhead snapped, plunging the chapel into darkness. Panic-erupted screams drowned out the silence. Footsteps shuffled wildly. Chaos erupted as shadows sprang to life, the outline of people darting toward the exits. "Evan!" Ashley shouted, reaching out blindly through the thickening black air. "Stay with me. Where are you?" He called, his voice a beacon amid the rising panic. Fear laced his tone, mingled with the fading echoes of their confrontation. As the lights buzzed back on, a disconnect hung heavy. Evan stood poised, caught between his parents. Shadows danced across his face, illuminated in sharp contrast. It was a clash of confusion and determination. "Evan, don't listen to him," she pleaded, inching closer. "We can leave. We can figure this out together." But the moment hung like a fragile thread. One sharp tug could snap it, sending everything crashing into darkness. Suddenly, a door creaked open into the back, a silhouette appearing against the light. The figure was tall, imposing, yet wrapped in an aura of something unsettling. Evan's breath hitched, eyes widening. No, it can't be. Ashley's heart dropped. Who was this new arrival, and what role did they play in this twisted family saga? With fear clawing at her insides, she realized they were about to unearth the chaotic layers of truth together or risk getting forever lost in the dark. What secrets would the figure reveal? And would it bind Evan to his family or shatter them apart for good? The tension in the chapel felt like a live wire snapped tight, ready to spark at any moment. All eyes turned to the looming figure, whose presence seemed to draw the very air from the room. Evan's father stiffened, a bead of sweat forming on his brow, while Evan's mother clutched her husband's arm, eyes wide with dread. "Who are you?" Evan demanded, trying to project courage, but it wavered as the shadow stepped forward into the flickering light. The figure was a man, older than Evan, with sharp features framed by unruly hair. A scar slashed jaggedly across his cheek, hinting at a violent past. But it was his eyes dark, calculating that truly unsettled Ashley. She felt like a spectator in a horror film, paralyzed as reality continued to spiral. "You don't know me," the man said, voice deep and gravelly, casting a glance around the chapel that swept over the guests like frost on glass. "But I know you, Evan. I know what your father has done and what he has kept from you." Gasps rippled through the crowd, growing louder with every word. Whispered speculations fluttered through the air like startled birds. This was no mere family drama. People were beginning to sense they were at the brink of something far darker. "Enough!" Evan's father shouted, his voice cracking, betraying a fear Ashley had never seen before. "You're not welcome here." "Oh, but I am," the man replied with an unsettling calm. "And you've been keeping secrets, Haven to you? Secrets that should have been shared with your son long ago." "Get out!" Evan shouted, stepping forward, his fists clenched. The defiance was there, but so was the undercurrent of confusion. What did this stranger know about his family? "No, Evan," the man continued, advancing a step as if daring Evan to do something stupid. "You need to hear this. Your life has been a lie. Your very existence, it was orchestrated, planned by forces beyond your control. You want the truth? I'm here to set you free." "Free?" Ashley echoed, a chill creeping down her spine. "Free from what?" The tension in the air thickened, the room growing silent in anticipation. The new figure seemed to thrive on it, his lips twisting into a grim smile before he continued. "Your father's legacy is steeped in blood, Evan. If you want to understand your purpose in this world, you must open your eyes. There is much at stake here, a legacy hidden in shadows that could break you or make you whole." Ashley felt the words wrap around her, squeezing too tight to breathe. She glanced at Evan, searching for hope in his expression, but she only found fear and uncertainty. "This is not a game," Evan's father thundered, stepping protectively in front of his son. "I want to let you ruin this moment." "Not now," but the man laughed, an eerie sound that echoed off the walls. "Ruin? Oh no, I'm only here to reveal. The truth will come out, whether you like it or not. Suddenly, the lights flickered again, plunging them into deep shadows. The man's silhouette vanished, and the panic surged once more. Evan, Ashley cried, her voice echoing in the void. We have to get out, but the lights flickered back, and the stranger was gone. The air felt colder, as if something had shifted irreversibly. Evan stood frozen, still looking toward the vacant entrance. What just happened? He murmured, his voice a whisper caught between disbelief and dawning horror. I don't know, but we need to figure this out. Ashley breathed, urgency creeping in her thoughts. Whatever that was, whatever secrets his arrival has unleashed, we can't just let it go. We have to dig deeper. As she grasped Evan's arm, a new determination pulsed between them. They were on the edge of a revelation that could reshape everything they knew. What darkness lurked in Evan's family history? And would they have the strength to confront it? Or was this merely the beginning of their unraveling? Evan's heart thundered in his chest as he turned to Ashley, her grip firm on his arm. The cacophony of whispers buzzed around them, a hive of confusion and fear. He felt the stare of family members weighing heavily on him, judging, questioning, fearing. But beneath the surface of their collective dread, there was something else: curiosity. What do we do now? Evan breathed, desperation coloring his tone. Ashley scanned the shocked faces of their guests. We find that man again. He knows something. We can't just walk away, she said, her voice low but steady. There was a fiery determination in her eyes that cut through the tension like a knife. Are you crazy? What if he comes back? What if he wants to hurt us? His thoughts raced, each more frantic than the last. We have to take the risk. The confidence in Ashley's voice ignited a spark of bravery in Evan. Your family's secrets are hanging in the air. We can't ignore this. Before he could reply, the chapel door creaked open, sending a chill through the room. Panic rippled through the crowd. A collective inhale as eyes turned to the entrance. It was a figure clad in dark clothing. The newcomer stepped in hesitantly, gaze sweeping across the congregation, landing squarely on Evan. At that moment, time seemed to stretch. Did you come to finish what the other man started? Evan's father challenged, his voice raw, trembling with anger. No, the newcomer replied, a hint of defiance in her tone. I came to speak to Evan. Ashley felt an electric jolt of intrigue pierce through the fear. This woman looked familiar, almost like a ghost from another life. Her features were sharp, with an intensity that could burn a hole through ice, yet there was a softness around her eyes. Who are you? Evan asked, trying to match the weight of the moment with his own bravado. The truth is buried deeper than you think, Evan. She stepped closer, her expression a mix of urgency and dread. You need to know about your family's history, the events that lead to tonight. What could you possibly know that we don't? Evan's father barked, positioning himself protectively in front of his son. Enough, the woman said, her calm voice slicing through the tension. The past cannot stay buried. Evan deserves to know why this moment matters. Ashley glanced at Evan, seeking his reaction. His father's face twisted with rage, but beneath it all, there was an undercurrent of panic. This was something that tormented him, something that felt as real as the floor beneath their feet. The woman continued, her gaze unyielding. Your mother, Evan, has been protecting you from a darkness that touches every part of your life. Secrets will be exposed, and the choices made long ago will alter your path forever. What do you mean? Evan's voice quivered, fear pulling him closer to the edge of disbelief. You don't understand, she pressed. If you want to break free from the chains binding you to your father's legacy, you must understand where you truly belong. It's not just about bloodline. It's about power. Evan's father shifted uncomfortably at her words. You don't know what you're talking about. Leave now, or I'll call security. But Evan was still. He felt a pull towards this stranger that was stronger than the command of his father. The familiar air crackled with danger. The stakes felt insurmountable. But the question remained nagging at him: what truth could possibly lie beneath the surface, shrouded in shadows and secrecy? Just then, the lights overhead flickered, plunging them into near darkness once more. Evan's heart raced as shadows danced along the walls. When the lights came back, the woman was gone. The unsettling emptiness lingered in her absence, leaving a hollow echo. "What has happened?" Evan muttered, feeling the weight of the moment crush him. "Evan, we need to find her," Ashley urged, an ember of hope in her eyes. "This is getting too complicated. Every new piece pulls us deeper into something bigger than we ever imagined." With adrenaline coursing through him, Evan made a choice. They had to chase the truth to unravel the secrets of the past. Whatever they uncovered, it could mean everything. What revelations lay waiting to be unearthed? And were they prepared to face whatever darkness awaited them in the shadows? Evan's breath hitched in his throat as the room around him buzzed with confusion. People murmured in disbelief, stealing glances at him, and then back to the empty space where the woman had stood. Had she really been there? "Ashley, where do we start?" he whispered, floodlights from the chapel behind them sharpening every shadow of his anxiety. Ashley pulled him closer, her voice urgent. "I think she mentioned your mother. We need to find her. Maybe she knows who that woman was." Evan felt a shudder run through him. "Mom? I don't think she'll be any help. Not if what that woman said is true." The idea of confronting his mother about something so unsettling made cold waves roll in his stomach. "Listen, your mom was acting weird even before all this. Remember last Thanksgiving?" Ashley pressed. She has been distant, almost guarded. This could be connected. Each word felt like a thud in Evan's chest, hammering the reality of what lay ahead into his mind. They made their way out of the chapel, a vortex of voices swirling around them, carrying their own anxieties. As they stepped outside, the night air slapped them with a chilling embrace. The moon was hidden behind a veil of clouds, darkening the path ahead. "Let's south drive to her place. She might be home," Ashley suggested, her eyes intense with purpose. "Right, let us go." Evan nodded firmly, but doubt crept in with every step. What if his mother was hiding something terrible? What if revealing the truth unraveled everything they knew, fracturing the very fabric of their family? He fumbled with the keys as they reached his car, hands shaking while trying to press the button on the fob. The engine roared to life, but silence fell heavily in the vehicle, thickening the space between them that a drive felt interminable, with the streetlights blinking by like fleeting thoughts. Thoughts of the woman and her ominous words rattled in Evan's mind, twisting like ivy tightening around tree bark. "Do you really think she can help us?" He finally spoke, breaking the silence. That woman seemed to know things that should have been left alone. Ashley's expression softened. "This isn't just about you anymore. It's about your family, about the truth. What could be waiting for you could be bigger than either of us." He glanced at her, seeing the resolve in her gaze. "What if we're not ready? That doesn't matter. We owe it to ourselves to see this through," she affirmed, a fierce light in her eyes. The house came into view, each light glowing warmly against the dark, contrasting sharply with the dread creeping up Evan's spine. The moment he parked, fear quaked in his core. What if she doesn't want to talk? What if she gets mad? He breathed. "Then we find a way to reach her. You have to confront this, Evan. You can't live in the shadows of your family's secrets." With a deep breath, Evan stepped out into the thick night. They approached the door, a wooden slab that once felt comforting now seemed an impenetrable barrier. "Okay, you ready?" he whispered, uncertainty flooding through him. "No turning back now," Ashley answered, her voice steadier than he felt. He raised his hand, a fist hovering over the door. Just as he was about to knock, a scream tore through the silence. It echoed out into the night like a rip in the fabric of reality, a sound so primal it sent shivers down his spine. "What was that?" he gasped, heart racing again. "I don't know, let us go." They dashed around the side of the house, following the sound that had shattered their focus. As they turned the corner, the scene before them nearly knocked the breath out of Evan. There stood his mother, pale and wide-eyed, her hand clasped over her mouth, looking into the shadows of the backyard. Time froze. Evan hesitated. There was something terribly wrong. What had she seen? And then, like a thunderclap, Evan felt something shift in the air around them. Whatever power had held their family was about to unravel, and they were on the brink of discovering something horrific. What had his mother stumbled upon, and how would it change everything they thought they knew? Evan moved cautiously toward his mother, his instincts screaming for him to retreat. Her shock mirrored his own fear, confusion knotting his stomach. "Mom? What's wrong?" He managed to squeeze out, his voice trembling. She turned slowly, her eyes glassy and unseeing for a moment, as if she were still in a trance. Then, recognition flashed, and her expression twisted into one of panic. "Evan, you shouldn't be here." She took a step back, the shadows swallowing her in an instant. "What do you mean? What have you seen?" Behind him, Ashley stepped forward, her presence grounding him. "We heard a scream. What happened?" His mother's gaze darted beyond them, fingers gripping the side of the house tightly. "You shouldn't know this. None of you should." There was fear in her voice, but something else too, defiance. "Mom, we need answers. Something is going on." "That woman, the woman?" Her voice raised, cutting him off sharply, the sound cutting through the thick air like a knife. "You saw her?" Evan nodded slowly, every heartbeat echoing in his ears. "What do you know about her?" His mother's face paled even further. "It's too dangerous. She is not who you think she is." Ashley squeezed Evan's arm, urging him to press on. "Who is she then? What did she want?" His mother's gaze finally overcame its panic as she leaned closer, lowering her voice. "They're back. They've found us. I thought I could keep you safe." She looked older in that moment, as if years of worry had etched themselves into her being. "What are you talking about?" Panic flooded Evan's voice. "Mom, please, we deserve to know. I did it to protect you." Her forced whisper barely carried, but the weight of her admission hung heavy in the air. "I made a deal with people like that woman." A chill raced down Evan's spine. A deal? Was his mother involved in something sinister? What kind of deal? He pressed, feeling a mix of betrayal and intrigue. The kind that binds family to darkness. "I thought it would keep us safe. I never wanted you to find out." Her breath hitched, and her voice cracked with the weight of her secrets. "I don't care about your past." Evan felt his own anger rising, fueled by confusion and fear. "What matters is right now. What do you think is going to happen?" Ashley pulled him back slightly, sensing the tension. "We have to stay calm. We need to focus on getting answers." From the depths of the shadows, a whisper floated toward them, barely audible but unmistakable. "Evan, you've awakened something that should have remained dormant." They turned as one towards the shadows, where the voice seemed to linger like smoke from a dying ember. The woman they had seen earlier began to emerge, her expression unreadable, eyes glowing with a strange intensity. "I've been watching, waiting. You cannot hide from what's coming." Evan's heart hammered in his chest. "What do you want from us?" "Just the truth." She smiled, and it felt void of warmth. "But be warned, truth comes with a price." Suddenly, a loud thud echoed from behind the house, as if something heavy had dropped. The ground seemed to shake, and the air thickened with a weighty dread. Evan and Ashley shared a frantic glance, understanding flashing between them. "Mom?" Evan called out, his voice barely above a whisper, but the growing fear was palpable. His mother had grown distant again, retreating further into the shadows as if the night itself might swallow her whole. "You must leave now," she cried, her voice cracking. "Don't look back." But Evan stood rooted, heart racing, torn between flight and the magnetic pull of the truth waiting just beyond reach. "Something is coming," Ashley whispered urgently, eyes wide as panic coursed through her. Were they running from something that lurked in the dark? Or were they about to chase secrets that could change everything they thought they knew? As the night deepened, ominous forces loomed closer, threatening to ensnare them in its chilling embrace. Would they flee, or would they face the darkness head-on? The answer hung in the air like a threat, and Evan knew there was no escaping what was about to unfold. They would have to decide before it was too late. What awaited them in the shadows was beyond anything they could ever imagine. A low growl rumbled through the air, sending ripples of fear cascading down Evan's spine. He turned abruptly, eyes scanning the inky darkness beyond. The shadows felt alive, shifting and swirling in inky darkness, as if eager to devour him whole. Evan, we have to go. Ashley's voice was urgent, strained with the kind of fear that drowns out all rational thought. No, I need to understand. I can't just leave my mom. He could hardly recognize the desperation in his own voice, yet something fiercely protective ignited within him. With an almost instinctive movement, Ashley grabbed his arm, holding it tightly. Yes, okay, she's just scared. You have to see that. We need to run. Run from what? Evan demanded, finally tearing his gaze from the encroaching shadows to face her, his voice a mixture of anger and confusion. Are we running from answers? Her eyes flickered with uncertainty, but the sense of danger pressing in around them overpowered any indecision. We're running from whatever that is, she said, gesturing wildly toward the ominous figure materializing from the dark. The woman, still cloaked in shadows, stepped forward, her laughter a chilling echo that draped itself around them like a riptide. No one can help you now, not even the one who thought she could protect you. Evan felt his breath quicken. What do you mean? He took a step back, putting himself between Ashley and the ominous figure. The price has already been paid. The woman cooed, her voice serpentine. Your mother exchanged her safety for yours, but words have power, and not all deals can be kept. Vengeance burned in the depths of her gaze. Evan's stomach twisted, sensing that every moment they lingered only invited greater peril. He reached for Ashley, fingers trembling. What kind of safety? It was a desperate plea, hoping for a flicker of understanding to break through the murk. The woman laughed again, full of mockery. Look closely, Evan. Can you not see the web of lies spun around your family? You're just a thread, woven into a tapestry of darkness. He felt the walls of reality tighten around him, his mind racing to comprehend her words. Every sensation felt sharp, colors vibrant against the growing dread. Tell me what I need to do. Desperation clawed at him. Nothing, the woman replied, voice dripping with a sinister glee. Simply embrace your fate. And without warning, the earth rumbled again, fierce and rumbling, as a jagged crack split the dirt beneath them. Panic seized him. Evan jerked backward, dragging Ashley with him. We need to move now. But as they stumbled away from the house, a shout erupted from behind them. Evan, it was his mother, fear slicing through her voice, urgency in her tone. You can't escape this. Fingers trembling, Evan glanced back, searching her face. What do you mean? What do we do? I'm so sorry, she screamed, her figure barely illuminated in the dim light. You don't understand what I've done. You need to break the cycle. Break what cycle? Frustration clawed at him as he watched his mother's figure slip further into darkness. Another sound, this one more monstrous than a thud, echoed through the night. A deep snarl, punctuated by a sense of predation, crawled into his ears. Hearts racing, Evan and Ashley turned toward the noise, dread solidifying in their chests. Then he saw a shadowy form emerging from the darkness, eyes glowing like embers, all teeth and torment. Fear twisted his stomach into knots. Almost instinctively, Ashley clutched Evan's hand tighter, as both of them stood paralyzed by fear and uncertainty. Behind them, his mother's desperate cries twisted into the air like smoke, an echo of lost hope. Run! Evan finally shouted, heart pounding, terror surging as he shot into the night, pulling Ashley with him. With every breath, the realization echoed in his mind. They were teetering on the brink of something catastrophic. What could possibly lie ahead in the shadows, waiting for them to take a step too far? Only time would tell. The night was a canvas painted in dread, a darkness slathered with the ticking clock of inevitability. Ashen streets blurred past as Evan and Ashley sped away, hearts racing alongside the engine's roar. But even fleeing felt like an echo against the weight of their reality. Where do we go? Ashley gasped, her eyes wide with panic. Home, Evan replied, grim determination lining his voice. But they weren't just running. They were racing against the shadowy secrets of a past clawing at their heels. They needed answers today. The familiar boulevard soon turned into nagging memories, lessons learned under the light of night shadows. Every intersection felt like an invitation back to the chapel. The truth was alive. It howled beneath the surface. There was no ignoring it. "This isn't over," Evans said, more to himself than to Ashley. "Should we even go back?" she asked, uncertainty clouding her eyes. "We need to," he replied, a lump swelling in his throat. His mom was trapped with guilt as sharp as a blade. He could hear her in the chaos, dulled voices echoing in the corners of his mind, warning him. When they pulled into the driveway, Evan's heart sank. The house loomed dark, cocooning memories of warmth in a shroud that felt more like a tomb. "Ready?" Ashley's grip tightened around his arm as they got out of the car. The darkness closed in like a heavy fog. Once inside, the air was thick with unsaid words. Evans searched for clues hiding amid the familiar decor. Family portraits decorated the walls, bright smiles standing in stark contrast to the shadow that had fallen over their lives. "Mom?" he called out tentatively, eyes scanning each corner. When this started, he could still hear her pleading tone etched in his memory. "I thought I was doing what was best." Ashley bit her lip, a frown creasing her brow as she whispered, "What do we do if she's not here?" The weight of uncertainty pressed down like a physical force. "Then we'll wait," Evans said resolutely, taking a seat on the couch. They didn't have to wait long. The door creaked open, revealing his mother, eyes wide with disbelief, a ghost of the woman he used to know. "You came back," she breathed, surprise flooding her features. "Mom, we need to talk," he urged, standing up abruptly. The tension in the air was palpable. "What is going on?" "That woman," she said, "you made a deal." His mother's gaze fell away. "I try to keep you from the truth," she began. "Mom, you need to tell me." The desperation in his voice anchored the moment, summoning a wave of courage. She had to talk, or they'd be stuck forever in the swirling shadows of fear. With a heavy sigh, she stepped forward, vulnerability playing over her features. "There are things in our family as past things I hoped you would never have to face." He felt his heart constrict. "What do you mean? What does the price she mentioned mean?" Tears gleamed in his mother's eyes, and she balled her hands into fists, trembling. "By making that decision, I entangled our family in a darker legacy. It was a sacrifice to protect you at all costs." Evan's mind raced. "What did you sacrifice? What are you hiding?" Her breath hitched as she prepared to spill the words she had locked up for so long. "Your father, he had enemies. Old threats that stalked him even in his silence. I made a deal to keep them at bay. I did what I thought was best for you and your future. But I never thought it would backfire. I never thought I'd lose you." Panic washed over him. "Lose me? Mom, what did you put in exchange for my safety?" The quiet intensity in the room felt like a seismic shift, trembling with the weight of the truth about to emerge. The shadows that danced around his mother revealed fractures, dark veins that pulsed with past anger and regret. "I had to give away your happiness," she finally admitted, words brittle and breaking against the air. "You were tied to a fate I tried to shield you from. I sacrificed freedom, your freedom, for peace in a world filled with chaos." Evan staggered back. "What?" It blasted through him like ice. "You've made my life a prison? You hid the truth because you thought I wouldn't handle it? I thought I was keeping you safe," she argued, wavering on the edge of an emotional cliff. "Not safe. You build a wall of lies." Evan felt the anger bubbling inside him, bubbling until it threatened to spill. "I did what I had to." Her voice cracked. He couldn't catch a breath. "No, you did what you wanted. I only ever wanted to protect you." She broke down, tears spilling like raindrops shattering glass. "I never wanted this, any of it." The world pressed in around them, and the past sat uncomfortably in every nook of the room. He stepped closer, fighting the tumult of emotions swirling like a storm between them. "And now? What happens now?" Before she could respond, the door swung open abruptly, sending a chill slithering through. Evan's heart dropped once more. The ominous figure from the shadows returned the woman with eyes that seemed to glint like knives. "The time has come, Evan. Time for you to embrace what you are. No, his mother cried out, stepping protectively in front of him once more. Get out of here, Evan roared, adrenaline surging through his veins. You're not welcome here. The woman smirked, an unsettling calm washed over her. Welcome? Oh, Evan, this is where it all starts. The moment you begin to unearth your legacy, you find yourself embraced by fate. Legacy? He echoed, heart pounding. Yes, blood binds you, and now you will either accept it or be consumed by it. A heavy silence loomed, a storm gathering clouds ready to unleash chaos. Evan felt the weight of his very existence, of being drawn into darkness against his will. But I'm not afraid, he spat defiantly. Maybe not, she said, her voice a venomous whisper, but you have a choice. A choice that could sever the chains binding him to his past or bind him even tighter. In that anguished moment, a flicker of understanding ignited within. Evan, facing the darkness, could unearth not just their family's secrets, but a strength he never knew he possessed. Then I choose to confront my truth, Evan shouted, echoing with a defiance that cracked through the walls of fear around him. Whatever that means, then let the cycle break, the woman said, looming closer. With each heartbeat, the room pulsed, and the shadows shifted around them like mist. With courage soaked in desperation, Evan took a step forward, determination blazing in his heart. Whoever you think I am, I'm ready to find out. Ashley squeezed his hand, grounding him as they prepared to face whatever horror awaited them in the shadows. There was no turning back now. Let the truth be revealed, the woman intoned, shadows swirling like an approaching storm. The night held its breath, and in that suspended moment they felt the shift. Whatever awaited them now loomed just beyond the edge of fear. The truth was ripe, just waiting to be grasped. The revelation would break through confrontation demanded. And for Evan and Ashley, the journey was just beginning. Would it bring release or drape them in darkness? Only time would tell. And with that weight hanging among them, the world felt ready to unveil its most profound secrets. Now, dear viewers, you've journeyed with us through this tumultuous tale, teetering on the edge of secrets and revelations. If you enjoyed this wild ride, you need to subscribe immediately so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm with some love. And let's keep this dialogue going. Flood the comment section with your reactions and theories about this thrilling conclusion. What do you think is next for Evan? Don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Your support means the world. Until next time, keep searching for your own truth.